Stay frosty and head over to easymutt.com for the cheapest mutt coins on the market. And when I say cheapest, I mean it. We're talking 1 million coins for around 40 bucks. Use code DIRECTOR for 5% off. Yo, what up, brothers? It's the Director. Chargers fans, an exciting time of year for Chargers football. And now we got training camp going on right now. Day 1 was fantastic. I've been keeping a close eye on day 2 and day 3. Tyron Johnson's looking incredible. Derwin James is playing all over the field, man. Very exciting times. You know, it's also pretty exciting. Madden 22 is just around the corner. And yes, I've already seen some stuff regarding, you know, our player ratings and stuff like that. Take a look at this, man. Justin Herbert, ranked number 15 overall in Madden 22 at an 80 overall. And as you guys will see in my tweet here, I says a part of me is upset that, you know, Herbert's rating. The other part of me knows he'll be a 90 plus by midseason, so you know what, who cares? It's just a video game, right? But at the same time, I care. I do care, man. I love Madden. I've been playing Madden for a very, very long time, and it's always very exciting at the top of the season to see where the Chargers kind of shake out as far as their player overall. So today we're going to be taking a look at every single Chargers player I have not seen. I mean, I've seen some of them on social media and stuff like that. I have not seen the full list yet, so I'm going to give you guys my reactions, maybe give you guys some adjustments as to where I think the Chargers should be ranked as far as their overall, because I'm going to be very, very honest. A lot of them are probably pretty low, right? In my biased Chargers fan opinion, a lot of these guys are going to be super, super low. So before we do get started, guys, as a reminder, we got a giveaway going on right now, guys, starting with a signed Joey Bosa football. All you got to do to enter for this one is hit up the link in the description, follow the instructions there. Very, very simple. Check out my new Director's Plays channel. It's going to be very, very cool going into Madden 22. And again, this is a thank you from me to you guys. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Make sure you guys are subscribed as well. Only subs can win. Then finally, for our crew members, we got this signed Antonio Gates jersey. Again, you guys, my crew members, you guys do so much for this channel. Thank you guys so much for your support. We're going to be drawing a name for this in the beginning of August. Again, all you got to do to be entered for this is be a member of my crew. And with that, let's get into this one. Before we do, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this Chargers content. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this one. Lights, camera, action. Reacting to the Chargers Madden 22 player ratings. It's gonna get messy in here. I for sure am gonna get offended at least a couple times in this video. As a matter of fact, I did scroll down here. I saw Keenan Allen. Let's just get into it, man. We'll get the first bulk of players in here.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, not a huge fan of what I'm seeing in here. First off, I'll start things off by saying with Joey Bosa, we'll get to Keenan Allen just saying, Joey Bosa, in my opinion, should probably be the highest rated player on the Chargers, right? He's listed at left outside linebacker this year. That's going to be very interesting to see how that shakes out in gameplay. But 92 overall, I ain't about it, man. I wish that this thing was a little easier. I mean, we got their speed and acceleration and strength and stuff like that. So, but like, if I wanted to look at this player down here, I'd have to go all the way back up and find the rating I want and then jump back down. So we'll just, for the sake of simplicity, keep an eye on a couple of the base stats up here, right? Joey Bosa, in my opinion, 92 overall is criminally low. In my opinion, guys, Joey Bosa, one of the best defensive players in the NFL, should definitely be above 95. Okay, Joey Bosa should be the highest rated player on the Chargers. I would say at about 97 overall. I can't think of very many players that do it better than Joey Bosa, and those players should absolutely be 98, 99 overall. So Joey Bosa at 92. That's the first thing that's going to tick me off a little bit, all right? This is what kind of video that we're getting into. I can already see and sense the energy that we're going to go into this video with. So Joey Bosa, 92 overall. He should be at least a 97. Now, Keenan Allen, if we were to go into this blindly, right? I should have done this before showing some of the players. What I think some of the best ratings should have been, obviously Keenan Allen, Joey Bosa would be my first two, and then Derwin James, right? Keenan Allen, to me, I was thinking was at least a 95 or 96. 93, I don't know. I've been playing Madden a long time, so I know what they're going to do, right? I know that Keenan Allen was probably going to be somewhere around 94, 93. 93 still feels really, really low. Keenan Allen, I think in a lot of people's opinions, was a top 10 wide receiver, maybe to some people, top 5, certainly to me. 93 overall doesn't really spell out that way to me. And again, I wish I could see the ratings here because, of course, I would think that his best ratings would be in route running, which are going to what all the way back here. Let's see, zone, man coverage, Derwin. Here we go, route running. 93 short, 94 medium, 90 deep. That's pretty respectable. His release at 95 is pretty respectable. So again, I would say some of these ratings overall, like, and I know we're going to get to Justin Herbert here in a little bit. The ratings aren't as important in Madden as are some of the specific attributes. Does that make sense? So Keenan Allen, for instance, he was hitting all what we'll call in the Maddenverse the thresholds for route running, okay? Which means he's going to be one of the best route runners in the game because he hits a certain number. So Keenan Allen, still going to be pretty solid. He's not a burner in real life either, but I would certainly think it's better than 88 speed. So Keenan Allen, I've been using Keenan Allen for a very long time in Madden. He's always been excellent, especially in the slot. So I can't be too upset about that. But honestly, again, as a Chargers fan, you got to hope that's at least 95. He's one of the best to do it in the NFL right now. Here's one that's really interesting to me, Corey Linsley. All right. Now, in the mode that I play a lot in Madden Ultimate Team, there's a promo at the end of the season called Team of the Year, where they take the best players of the season and they give them juiced up cards and stuff like that, right? Typically, when a player reaches that status, as a Corey Linsley did last season, you can expect the overall to be quite high. Not to mention, in real life football, I feel like Corey Linsley was looked at as the best center in football. He's been looked at as one of the best linemen in football for quite a while, too. So 88, to me, also super, super low. If I were to give a rating as far as where I thought he would be, probably around a 94. The guy was super solid in pass protection. The guy's one of the best in run blocking. Kind of crazy to me to see him at 88 overall. But still, it's nice to see the Chargers go out and get a free agent that is such a high level in Madden. 88 overall at center. I don't think I've ever seen this. We haven't had like a Hardwick in the game or anything like that. I don't think I've seen a center of that caliber on the Chargers for Madden ever. Now here's another one that grinds my gears. Should that be the title of this video? The Madden 22 ratings that grind my gears. It kind of feels that way. Derwin James. Now I understand the situation of Derwin James, okay? He's been hurt. He hasn't been playing as much as other high caliber safeties in the league, Jamal Adams, Minka Fitzpatrick. So yeah, they're probably going to take his rating down a tick or two. Still, when he was playing, I feel like his rating was still pretty low, like a 92 or a 93. Derwin James is one of the best in the entire league. So I understand, I get the rating of 88, but given the kind of talent that he is, not very few players in the NFL can do what he does. I would say at least a 90 would do him justice. 90 speed is pretty solid. Acceleration is pretty solid. Again, I wish I could show you guys all of the attributes here. But to me, Derwin James, a couple off. I understand he's been injured, but 90 felt like a right spot to me. Brian Bulaga. This is where we're going to like surprise some Chargers fans, right? Brian Bulaga in kind of a similar situation as Derwin James last season. He played injured most of the time when he was on the field. And he wasn't really on the field that often. 87 overall to me. I'll take it all day long. I love Brian Bulaga, but I think given his last season, he didn't play as great as we were hoping he would. I would have maybe pegged him an 85 overall. Honestly, I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but like he's getting a little bit older. He's been playing very injured, but still 87, I'll absolutely take it. But if we're going to be playing, the non-bias card here, I'm a Chargers fan, but I also understand Madden. I understand football. I understand, the way the game is put together and how they decide the attributes and ratings. I would have said maybe Brian Bulaga is a scoosh lower. Next up, we got Chris Harris Jr. at 87 overall. Honestly, I think that's perfect where it is. Maybe you could have taken it down just maybe one, but I think 87 is perfect for him. He's one of the best slot cornerbacks of all time. I fully expect that's where he's going to play for the Chargers a lot. That's where he's going to play in my Madden team, and I think he's in a good spot right there. Austin Eckler at 85 overall. Now I get it. Austin Eckler kind of went through a lot of those similar circumstances last season, right? He played maybe injured a little bit at times, but he really did bounce back after his absence from his injury, right? And when he was on the field, I think it was pretty apparent that he was one of the better running backs in the league, specifically when it comes to his archetype. And I think that's where the rating is coming from in this situation, right? Madden favors different attributes: carrying, speed, acceleration, juke and spin move. Those are the kind of things that help boost a rating for a running back. The things that don't really boost a rating for a running back that much, I would say, are your catching, your route running, and stuff like that, because they're not a wide receiver, right? So I would assume that Austin Eckler has pretty decent catching, pretty decent route running, specifically in the short route. And I do think that probably reflects on what we're seeing right here, because to me, Austin Eckler is at least an 88 overall. 85 seems low, but again, with the archetype that he is, where the attributes are and exist for Austin Eckler, he's going to play very, very well for the kind of running back he is. A third down back, a receiving back. He's going to be just fine. Jared Cook at 84 overall seems fine to me. Linval Joseph at 84 overall. I would say maybe 85 is where I feel comfortable with him, but 84 is just fine. Mike Williams at 82. This one hurts me every single season because I've seen the potential of Mike Williams year in and year out, right? He had the season with over 1,000 yards. He had the season with over 10 touchdowns. And I would hope that Mike Williams would have been over 85 overall by now. 82, honestly, with what we've had, his injuries and stuff like that, it doesn't feel too far off. I personally would have given him an 84, but I understand the circumstances here. Just wait, though, guys. Just wait. 2020 in Madden 23 is what I'll say. Madden 23, I do think Mike Williams' rating is going to go up because I feel like he's about to be featured very heavily in the new Brandon Staley and Joe Lombardi scheme. Now taking a look at Justin Herbert. This is the one. Actually, they're back-to-back. There's back-to-back-to-back players that I feel like are criminally underrated. And this, again, Justin Herbert, to no fault of his own, is a victim of circumstance, okay? Justin Herbert, 80 overall. Are you kidding me? But the reason he's victim of circumstance is that this is his second year in the league. There are still players. Let's go back to this tweet real quick as far as the quarterbacks are concerned. There are still players that I think are fantastic that don't have a great rating. The only thing that irks me about this list is that in what world is Derek Carr better than Justin Herbert? Other than that, Kyler Murray, he's been pretty good for a while now, right? Only an 82 overall. Matt Stafford's been incredible for a long time. Only an 83. Baker Mayfield has been looking really solid. Only an 84. So I understand it. I get it. It takes a while for these player rankings to really marinate and sink in. But still, I think you got to make an exception for Justin Herbert, right? I was honestly thinking with the kind of season that he had, he would have garnered at least an 83 to 84, even though he's a younger player. And even though in Madden, it takes a long time for a player to get that kind of recognition, right? Because he was the best rookie the NFL has ever seen at quarterback. I figured there's got to be some sort of exception. Then no, there was not. And thus, Justin Herbert lands an 80 overall, which still is very respectable when you're talking about a second-year quarterback. You know, he only has the 1 year of tape to look at as far as Madden is concerned. 80 overall, I get it. I had predicted between 83 and 84 because I figured there would be an exception. It's Justin Herbert. He was absolutely fantastic. This one is the one that does rub me the wrong way the most. However, that being said, again, in Madden, attributes trump overall. There are some players that may have a lower overall, but they hit a certain attribute higher than others. And Justin Herbert, I think, what did they say, 93 throw power, which again, I feel is criminally underrated. You go back on Twitter, you'll see the actual Chargers saying 93 throw power when they showed some good examples of why he has higher than 93 throw power. In a Madden, 93 throw power is still really, really, really good. So even though he's an 80 overall, that kind of throw power, that kind of mobility, what we're looking at speed right now, right? 84 speed, 87 acceleration. That's a really, really nice combo when you're going into Madden, okay? A lot of players, if you're talking like a fantasy draft kind of format or whatever, they're going to be choosing Justin Herbert because, one, he is young, two, he's got the throw power, and he's got the speed. Herbert's going to be a very, very good quarterback for a long time in Madden, but you would have liked to see a higher rating following his Offensive Rookie of the Year performance, okay? Kenneth Murray, 78 overall. Another one that I feel like it's a little bit low, okay? Again, if it were me doing the ratings, Herbert would have been an 83 at the very worst, and Kenneth Murray would have been an 81, okay? So like 3 off. Kenneth Murray, however, once again, when we're talking Madden, because I would say quarterback and middle linebacker, for the most part in Madden for very many years, have been two of the most important positions in the game. Now, if you're a Madden veteran, you understand what's going on with the game the last couple of years, you'll maybe say, linebacker's not as important. It still can be, right? But if you want a really nice, we'll call him user, and this is the guy that you control on defense. You want a guy that's fast. 88 speed is really nice in the middle of the field. And you want a guy that's tall. And last I checked, Kenneth Murray was what, like 6'2 or 6'3? So again, he's going to be one of the better linebackers in the game, even at 78 overall. I also have to imagine his tackling rating is pretty high, because that's honestly what he did best for the Chargers last season. Over 100 tackles, the best in franchise history from a rookie. He's been fantastic. He led the team last year, as a matter of fact. So I would say, again, a little bit low. Let's blow through a couple of these other players here, man. Uchenna Nwosu, 77. Again, I understand that. He hasn't played a lot of snaps. A lot of people are like, maybe they don't understand or they don't have as much exposure to Madden and be like, 77 overall, oh my God. I get it, okay? The format is not meant to be like a knock on the player so much as a representation of their abilities in the game, right? And Uchenna Nwosu, we haven't seen enough of a sample size to get him up there into the 80s, but he is one of those guys I fully expect to launch himself into the stratosphere of Madden 23. And Jerry Tillery, 74 overall, again, hasn't lived up to expectations since being drafted in the first round by the Chargers. Again, that could change this season. A lot of these players are in a good spot to increase their overall by Madden 23. And not just that, but this game does get updated live. So I would assume, like I said in my tweet yesterday, that Justin Herbert could get closer to 90 overall by midseason. I do fully believe that. Kenneth Murray, I do believe, will be in the 80s. Uchenna Nwosu, I think there's a good shot at him being in the 80s by midseason. Jerry Tillery is one of those guys that he could pop off this season. Maybe he does get closer to the high 70s by midseason. You never know. Matt Filer at 74 overall at left guard. Fantastic for the Chargers offensive line. We're talking Chargers. Trust me, been playing Madden a long time. That's not a bad rating at left guard. Michael Davis, maybe a little bit shocking here. I would have pegged him more at a 78 overall. He really did stand up and shine last season. But again, it's Madden. Don't get too upset about it, but I would have expected at least 78 overall. Drew Tranquil's been hurt for a while last season. 73 feels okay. I would have pegged maybe 74, 75. Justin Jackson needs more snaps. Kyler Fackrell, honestly, maybe a little higher than I thought he would have been. 73, looking pretty good. Nasir Adderley, also maybe looking a little higher than I thought he would be. Not too bad. Let's get into the second page here. Now, this is where things get interesting. The Chargers' first round pick, actually first and second round pick back to back. This is where people get a little bit confused, right? Rashawn Slater, oh my God, he's going to come in here. He's going to make a huge impact for the Chargers. One of the best linemen we've seen in the draft in a while. Only a 73 overall. I get it. Madden very rarely gives rookies anything close to an 80 overall via the draft. They have to be like one of the best players of all time in college and stuff like that. Very rarely do you see that. So 73 overall at left tackle. Again, coming from a Chargers fan that played this game last year. Who we have over there last year? Sam Tevi, I think. And he was like in the low 60s. I will take that immediately. But Rashawn Slater is definitely one of those players I can see getting closer to 80 over the season. Left tackle, not an easy position to play. Not an easy position to grow in Madden. But there are exceptions, especially for the rookies. I think Rashawn Slater's going to shine. Now, Asante Samuel Jr., this one gets me super excited, okay? Asante Samuel Jr., the ratings aren't going to be crazy. He's not going to play like a god out there, but 72 overall is solid for a second-round pick. Really solid for a second-round pick. The things that get me excited, his speed is pretty good. 92 and 93 acceleration, so 92 speed, 93 acceleration. I have to assume that his man and zone coverage are going to be a little bit lower, but he's going to be one of those players that I fully expect to grow in those areas over the season. Next season, I do expect him to be closer to 80 overall. I'm very excited to see what Asante Samuel Jr. does. This is a solid place to start him. And in terms of solid place to start, I would say, especially if you play franchise, which I will be playing this season, that's a really, really nice cornerback to have on your roster. The Chargers have a lot of nice young players. Justin Jones looks all right. Jalen Guyton making his way into the 70s. I think he was a 60-something last season. Joshua Kelly, I would argue maybe even a little bit too high right there. He ranked as the worst running back in the league last season. We do have a couple of new names as far as special teams as well. Lachlan Edwards, 70 overall punter. He's going to be competing for the starting job. We got Michael Badgley, 70 overall, which at this point seems appropriate. I would have knocked him down to 69. Tyron Johnson at 70 overall. What's really interesting is that they have Tyron Johnson over Jalen Guyton. Guyton. And to me, yeah, it's a 1A, 1B kind of situation. They were both really good when called upon. But I feel like Tyron Johnson, to me, is the guy. He's the guy who I think is going to be the Chargers' third wide receiver. He had spectacular catching as far as, very rare to see him drop anything. I don't think he even dropped anything last season. And really, really nice speed. I think what gives Guyton the bump here, he might have maybe a little bit of better acceleration or something, just barely. But I think Tyron Johnson is going to be the guy we see starting to rise by mid-season. Christian Covington, again, looks okay. A lot of these guys, I don't like. Covington, I just found out about him over the offseason because the Chargers signed him. He might be great. Ryan Smith's going to be a solid special teamer. Kaiser White, I was hoping to see a little bit higher, at least a 71, because he's going to have pretty decent zone coverage for a linebacker. Joe Reed, same as last year, I think. Josh Palmer, he might be climbing as well over the season. Alohi Gilman, I was hoping to see a little bit higher too. Campbell might rise as well. I think the guy that Chargers fans might be surprised to see rising to be this guy right here, Brandon Faison, right? 65 overall. I think he's going to get more snaps than we all think. I think he's going to rise a little bit quicker than we all think as well. Chris Rumph might see some action in rotation. Gabe Neighbors, fullback, is a really hard one to upgrade over the season. Then Donald Parham, 65 overall. Again, I get it. He got 10 receptions last season, but still, those plays were great and his efficiency was great. I would have given him at least a 68. Let's blow through a couple of these last players here, man. We got a lot of these lower overalls in here. Hurst, Hill, I think may have gone up a few. Larry Roundtree, we'll have to wait and see. Mark Webb's also going to be interesting. I've been seeing him do some good stuff in camp. Trey McKitty might be called upon more than the Chargers think because he's probably one of our better run blocking tight ends on the roster right now. Oday Abushi at 63 overall. It's going to be interesting seeing him compete for snaps with him and Hymus, but we'll have to wait and see on that one as well. Chase Daniel, new backup quarterback. Trey Pipkins last season. Yep, left tackle last season. I think he was right tackle in the game last season. Oh, man. That wasn't good, man. That was not good. Easton Stick getting bumped down to 61 overall. And then finally, the last couple of players here. Is there anybody else that I want to point out? Hymus, only a 59. I would have given him at least a 62. I think that's about it on here, guys. Storm Norton still holding steady in the mid-50s. And Cole Mays. I don't know why they do this, guys. He's our long snapper. They have him in there at tight end, 27 overall. Give him that, throw him at like a center position or something, right? Get that overall rating up. That's absolutely atrocious. Well, guys, that's going to do it, okay? I want you guys in the comments section to list some of your biggest grievances with EA and Madden 22 as far as the player ratings. The ones I would say bug me the most at number 1 are Joey Bosa. He should be way higher, like 5 overall higher, right? Maybe it's because, I just thought of this. Maybe it's because they moved Joey Bosa to a different position, right? In the 4-3 scheme that the Chargers were running before, Joey Bosa was listed at left end. Now that he's an outside linebacker, I kind of understand why his rating isn't as high. I think he was like a 93 or 94 last season. I kind of get it. But still, it's too low. The other guys I think are criminally underrated. After Joey Bosa, I think for me it's going to be Justin Herbert, and then Keenan Allen and Corey Linsley, and of course Derwin James. I think all those guys need a significant boost, but let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Well, guys, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This has been The Director. If you did enjoy this content, hit us up with a like and sub on your way out. We'll be seeing you next time, and as always, bolt up and stay frosty.